All right, today I'm on the Norden 901, and it could possibly be the last ride on this bike. So I've owned the 901 for a year and a half now. Got approximately 3,000 miles on it. And when I bought the bike, I'd come from the Scrambler 1200 XC, which is a big bike, big modern classic, very heavy. And I really thought that I would be doing adventure-y kind of stuff, to be honest with you. And the fact that I've only put 3,000 miles on a motorcycle in a year and a half tells me that it's probably not the right style of motorcycling that I'm going to do. On top of that, there are a few reasons why this particular bike, maybe not even this particular bike, but the brand, it's time to move on. And we can start by talking about, obviously, the financial troubles of KTM. I don't want to get too deep into that. I always thought that somebody would come in, bail out KTM. They're too big of a brand. Like any American automotive manufacturer, they're not going to let them go by the wayside. Somebody will always come in, fund them, and keep them going. That's one of the reasons. The second reason is the dealer support. I have had abysmal dealer support for this bike. And I've had warranty issues, and they haven't been taken care of. The bike was missing a tank bushing to hold the tank on. KTM did not warranty that. It was within months of recognizing it when I went to put the heavier skid plate on it. There was a bolt that was cross-threaded on the kickstand bracket. I couldn't get it out. They couldn't get it out. They ended up breaking it. And I had to pay $176 for a new kickstand bracket. And when I went to the dealer and said, hey, can't you guys warranty this? They said, we're super busy. We don't have time. Here's the email address to warranty it. When I had my first initial service, I said, hey, the front end bounces. And when I took it in, they came back and they actually never even addressed it. All they did was crank up the rebound or the compression to stop the bouncing, which is not addressing the issue. And when I picked it up, I said, hey, how about the front tire? And they were like, oh, we didn't get to it. Take it off and bring it back and we'll balance it for you. We'll check it out. And so, since the troubles with KTM and their financials, this dealer is all KTM, gas, and Husqvarna. They're nothing else. And so, I was having the cold start problem that a lot of these bikes have. And I thought maybe the battery. So I went in and I said, hey, is the battery under warranty? I bring it down. You guys can check it out. And the guy was super annoyed with me asking about a warranty on a battery. He went back and checked with the owner, came out and said, yeah, if you want to bring the bike down, you'll have to leave it here for at least a week so we can test it out, take pictures, and let you know. And so I'm like, why can't I just take the battery out and bring it to you, swap it out, and we move on, right? So I was frustrated and I left. And I came back, and about a month later, talked to a different salesperson. And he's like, take the battery out. He's this, and this is after the financial, news about KTM. All of a sudden, their customer service is turned around. The guy gave me a battery to take home, put in the bike, and then bring the bad one back. But this is what it took to get that kind of service. And so it's just frustrating. And so for me, I don't make a ton of money, so spending $13,000, $14,000 on a motorcycle, I need to have that excellent customer service. The customer service that I got when I had my BMW GS 750. Now that bike was expensive to service, but those guys would handle anything immediately. Never a question. of whether they would take care of it or not. So, that's really kind of the main question. Now, the bike has had some issues. Again, the battery in a year and a half. I also had to replace the thermostat housing, which was warped. Now, again, quality issues. It's a plastic thermostat housing against a metal motor. And it would only leak when it was cold on startup. And then by the time everything got hold and everything molded together, it would seal up. And that didn't make any sense to me. But they handled it under warranty. They replaced both hoses. They flushed the fuel system, replaced the radiator cover. Sorry, not the radiator cover, but the thermostat cover. But here's the thing. They replaced it with an identical plastic cover. So how long until that's actually going to warp again? And I'm going to have to go through the same process, but this time I'll have to pay the $400 and some odd because in 6 months the warranty's up. So, every bike has its problems and every bike has its issues. And, I've had other vehicles that have had problems, but a lot of it is based on the dealer support. How good is that dealer support? Do they take care of you? Do they give you a rental bike if you're on a bike to get home? Do they, my BMW dealer will call an Uber to get you home when you drop off your motorcycle for service. That's the kind of service that I kind of expect from a company like KTM. And so, other than those mechanical things, a few other nitpicky things are the wind turbulence. I've tried 3 different windshields, and I basically can't ride this bike with a helmet with a visor on anything over 50 miles an hour. And that's an issue because I like to get on the freeway and I'd like to do some longer rides. It's kind of why I purchased this style of bike, to basically, do some light touring, some light adventuring, gravel roads, dirt roads, etc. And it's just not comfortable. And the wind noise is just horrendous. And so, maybe some other people don't mind it. Maybe they can put up with it. I don't know. But, I'm looking for comfort when I'm getting on the motorcycle for a long ride. Now, the positive things about this bike, and I want to make sure that I talk about the positive things too. This bike, performance-wise, is incredible. It'll literally rip your lips off. With the speed shifter, I will blow other sport bikes away. No problem. It is fast. It has all the power in the world. You drop that quick shifter in high revs, and the bike just torques and goes, man. So that's a positive and a negative too, because I drive this bike like an a-hole when it's in sport mode, and most of the time when it's in street mode. And the bike wants to go fast. The bike just literally tells you, look, lane split, work your way through traffic at a high level of speed, do it, because the bike wants to go fast. And I'll admit it, I ride this bike in rain mode because it's smoother, it's more controlled. I mean, this bike is an absolute weapon. And I don't know that right now, I've made a couple of videos on dual sporting, and I don't know that I'm really at that age, now that I'm over 50, where I really need to fly by the scruff of my pants and take that big of a risk and drive like an a-hole, right? And so maybe my riding style has changed to a more cruiser style. And that's kind of why I'm exploring other bikes today. I'm headed down to a dealership to maybe test ride a couple and see what my options are. Other things I love about this bike is that it is super lightweight. The tank design, where it holds a lot of the weight down below, makes it nimble. I mean, off-road, no problem, right? It makes me a better rider with all the performance electronics that this has on it. It's got 50 modes. It's got, it's got everything on it that'll make me seem like a better rider and give me kind of a self-confidence that that I'm a good rider, but I'm really not that good. So yeah, well, just let's say off-road. Again, it gives me self-confidence off-road to where I feel like I could do a lot more, and that's great. So other positive things, I like the looks, right? I like the looks of the Norden. Head and tails over the KTM. That Prey Manus look just doesn't do it for me. I like the round headlights. Yeah, it looks like a Minion, but I dig it. I dig the looks, and it's probably 60% of the reason why I bought the bike. I knew its performance, but I just like the looks a lot better. And it's unique, right? People ask you about it when you stop and park. They don't know really what it is. Anybody can recognize KTM orange, but this bike is all black and has some yellow highlights, and people just don't know what it is. So, that's, and really the bike itself, for what it's designed to do, I'll never, ever use all the performance out of this bike, on-road or off-road. My skill level isn't there, and so I think, again, that's why I gravitate towards the dual sport bikes, right? Dual sport, ultralight, ultra flickable, not enough power to get yourself in trouble. This thing, it just makes me ride like a hooligan, and I don't know that that's what I need in my life right now. Other than that, the bike has everything you could need. Cruise control, there's accessories out there for it, which is great. The challenge is I'm going to have to probably trade it in. For the same reasons about KTM and Husky and Gas, the financial situation, the value of this bike right now, people are not buying them used because they're concerned, right? They're concerned about, will there be dealer support? Will there be parts support? And so I've had it on Marketplace for about 2 months at a reasonable price, what I feel is reasonable, and I've gotten absolutely no hits. There's not a lot of them out there for sale, but I think people are just steering away from them right now until they feel like their investment is solid. Now, I don't think it's the same thing for the dirt bikes. I think the dirt bikes are dirt bikes, right? There's an expectation. You're constantly working on a dirt bike after you ride a certain amount of hours. It needs a certain amount of service level. They're easier to work on for your standard, in your garage guy. But these big adventure bikes, and I didn't get into the cam issues that people are having and all that kind of stuff because I didn't experience that, and so I'm going to have to trade it in. And even the trade-in value is just greatly disappointing. But at this point, if I want to move on, I'm going to have to do it. So, yeah. So I guess when I get to the dealer, I'm going to take a couple of rides and on some other bikes, and maybe I'll take you along if I can do that, and we'll see what comes next. But right now, I'm like 51% that today I'll be riding a new bike home.